So I just recorded my video again and none of it recorded. So hopefully this works this time. I'm still getting used to this, as are you guys. Okay, so we are going to be doing chapter 11 today, and we're doing lesson 1, which is explore addition and subtraction with decimals. So get your books out. We're on page 282, and let's write some notes. All right. So in the book, you're going to notice all of these models, these squares here with these grids. We're not going to be using those. Those are great for being able to visualize it. Use manipulatives, which we have at school. We don't have that here. So I'm not going to be able to show those to you guys. But for visualization purposes, it's easy to see why they use these. So we're going to read the first example. Page 282 says, a car dealer sells used sports cars. Of all the cars she has in her lot, 0.89 are red and only 0.03 are green. What part of the cars on her lot are red or green? So we're going to add them together. Okay, the reason why I'm reading the numbers like that instead of the real way is I'm going to show you guys why, okay? Okay, so solve 0.89 plus 0.03 equals n. So what they did here says you can use models and what you know about fractions to find 0.89 plus 0.03. Try changing the decimals to fractions and then modeling the addition. So the very first one, they colored in those squares orange. There's 100 squares there, okay? And the reason why there's 100 squares is because our denominator is 100. How do you say 0.89? You say 89 hundredths, okay? So that's why they have 100 little squares there. So what they did was they colored in 89 out of the 100, and then that little 0.03, you read it 3 hundredths, okay? So they added 3 more little red squares, and then they got a total, okay? We're going to talk about what that total is, but the first thing that I'm trying to get you guys to understand what they're doing here is they're turning the decimals into fractions. That way it's easier to add together. Sometimes that's what we have to do. We have to turn the decimals into fractions. The reason being is that we like it when the denominators are going to be 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. We like it when the denominators are powers of 10 because then it's easy to put into a decimal because that's what decimals go by. All right, so we're going to do the first example. Okay, we've got example 1 here. 0.89 plus 0.03 equals n. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just going to make sure that I'm still recording so I don't have to do this over again. Perfect. Okay, so 0.89 plus 0.03 equals n. So the first one is this one. How do I turn that into a fraction? We know how to add fractions. That's what we've been doing these last 2 chapters. So we have 0.89. Okay, listen, the way you say it is the way you write it. So how do I say this number? I say 89 hundredths. Okay, well, I said 89 hundredths. Now I need to write it that way with a fraction. 89 hundredths. Easy peasy. Okay, 89 hundredths. Next one. 0.03 is 3 hundredths. Okay, now the question's asking us to add them together. Let's add them together. They have the same denominator, so we don't need to find an LCD, least common denominator. We already have the same thing, 100, 100. So we can just add them together. 89 plus 3, 92 over 100. All right, do I need to simplify? No, we're not working on simplifying right now. We're trying to turn this back into a decimal. If I simplify this, I'm gonna mess things all up because like I said, We like it when the denominators are 10, 100,000 because that's what decimals go by. If I were to simplify this, then I would get some denominator like 50 or something smaller, and that's not easy to turn into a decimal, like 7 or 29. Those aren't easy, but 10, 100,000, those are easy to turn into decimals. So, how do I turn this back into a decimal? Let me read it. 92 hundredths. Okay, so I have 0.92 hundredths. Okay, so why did I write it like that? So the name, wherever your number ends, is the name. Okay, and I'm going to explain that really quick. This first, right here, is the 10th spot. This next spot is the 100th spot. Okay, don't forget the THS, hundredths. Okay, tenths. So wherever it ends is the name of it. Wherever this ends, so the number ends on the 92, it would be 92 hundredths. Okay, if I just had this 9, I wouldn't say 9 hundredths. Okay, that's not what that says. That says 9 tenths because it ends, this is the name of it, it ends on the 10th spot. So think of it this way. This is the first name, this is the family name, the last name, okay? So I need to put my 2 back there. So that way, the first name is 92, the last name is hundredths because it ends in the 100th spot. That's a good analogy. I just thought about that. I'm going to use that from now on. Okay, so this is our answer. We turned it into a fraction, added the fraction, and then turned it back into a decimal. We're going to do one more example for you guys. All right, let me erase this. Okay. Next example, example 2, is 2.14 minus 1.12, okay? Again, if you notice, I'm saying point. We shouldn't actually say point, it's and. But I'm going to try to make a point here. Get it? Point? Sorry. All right, so how do I write this as a fraction? Okay, we have 2.14, okay? The way that you say it is the way that you write it. 2 and 14, remember what's the last name? Where does it end? Hundredths, 2 and 14 hundredths. So now let's write that as a fraction. 2 and 14 hundredths. Okay, next one, 1.12 is 1 whole number and 12 hundredths. Okay, now it's asking me to subtract. Okay, 14 minus 12. I have the same denominator, so I don't have to worry about getting a new denominator with an LCD. So 14 minus 12 is 2 hundredths. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer, 1 and 2 hundredths. Am I done? No, I still need to turn it back into a decimal. Okay, so 1 and 2 hundredths. Remember, 1 is my whole number, so it needs to go on the left side of the decimal. 1 and 2 hundredths. Okay, let's think about this. If I were to write a 2 right here, is that the answer? No. That says 1 and 2 tenths. It's in the wrong spot, tenths. This is the last name, the family name, tenths and hundredths. Okay, so that says 1 and 2 tenths. That is incorrect. I want it to say 1 and 2 hundredths. So I need to move my 2 over. Move it right here. Well, now that says 1 and 2 hundredths, but what goes here? Nothing's there, so I can write a 0. Okay, so now this says 1 and 2 hundredths. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Go ahead and start on your 11.1 homework and get that submitted. And we'll keep working on this. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks guys.